Welcome back and to this section on the internet. In this section, we're going to explore how to surf the internet in a safe and secure fashion. In particular, we're going to look at exploring information sources, online shopping, downloads, and social media. Hope you enjoy the ride. Okay, the fact that you're watching me now indicates that you or someone you know knows how to navigate the internet well enough to get to this site and get connected to this video. Regardless, I'm going to go through the process of connecting to the internet and navigating around such that we can all be on the same page.
Here you see me launching my web browser by simply clicking on the internet icon down in my taskbar. Your laptop may have come with a different browser like Safari, Chrome, or Edge. No big deal, they all work about the same. Okay, now to navigate to a website where you already know the address, you simply type that address into the navigation bar as shown here and hit return. Here you see me going to check out how the stock market is doing today by navigating to the www.msn.com website. Okay, looks like a pretty quiet day, down just a little bit, but no big deal. Now we can jump back to our previous website, in our case Google, by just clicking on this back arrow. Easy enough. Alternatively, if you don't know the website address, you can search for it through your favorite search engine. What returns is a list of possible website matches with links to those sites. These links can be identified by their bright blue font color. To go to one of the sites, simply click on the associated link. Okay, cool. Now we can learn all about North Carolina trout fishing. If we wanted to save this address, we could simply add it to our favorites list, then next time we wouldn't have to look it up again. Similarly, if we wanted to make it our home page, that is the website which automatically launches each time we open our browser, we'd go here to Internet Options and choose to use the current site as our home page. The last thing that you need to know is that you can have multiple websites open at the same time. This is especially helpful when you are doing some research or comparison shopping. To open additional websites, just click here and a new tab appears wherein you can navigate to wherever you want. To close a tab, just click this little X. The tab will automatically shut down.
Okay, now that you know how to navigate around the internet, let's talk about how we can do it in a safe and secure fashion. Let's start by taking a look at these two URLs. The first takes us to the news site msn.com, and the second brings us to the shopping site amazon.com. Also, please look at the prefixes to these two site addresses. One is HTTPS and the other is HTTP. The HTTPS refers to the fact that that link between your laptop and that server is going to be secured. All the information communicated across that link is going to be encrypted such that only you and the sending computer know what is to be said. It's necessary when you're on a shopping site like Amazon. MSN is strictly a news site. All you're going to do is read information on it. As such, it doesn't need to be secured. One more point on secured sites. You can look at the web address and you'll also find a little lock symbol there. Again, if you can't remember HTTPS, remember to look for the lock symbol. If you see the lock symbol and you see HTTPS, you are secured and you can safely navigate that site, providing otherwise secure information, and be secured that it's not going to be lost. Our next big topic with respect to navigating the internet is viruses. These are programs written by crazy people to try to get in your computer and otherwise just make a mess of everybody's life. It doesn't matter who you are or what kind of laptop you're running, you are going to get viruses surfing the internet. I have security software on every one of my laptops and I still get a virus no less than once a week. It just comes with the territory. How are you going to recognize them? Well, all of a sudden your computer is going to slow down terribly. Surfing the internet is going to behave very oddly. You can't understand why things aren't behaving the way they normally do. And in general, your computer just runs like garbage. What do? You get online and you download one of the free malware software applications that can clean these viruses off your box. I use Malwarebytes. It's a free software by a major vendor, and it works perfectly. What's the bad news? I am a heavy internet surfer, so I need to run this thing at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, and it takes probably an hour to run it. In addition, you need to restart your computer once it's completed its cleanup work. What's the good news? It's free and it works. My suggestion is if you're a moderate internet user, you need to run one of these things at least once a month and clean the junk off your laptop. I'm sorry, I'm not one of the crazies out there writing this junk, but there are plenty of them and there's nothing we can do about it. Our next topic with respect to the internet is information sources, online information sources. What's the good news? There are literally hundreds of them, Wikipedia clearly being the largest and most diverse. The good news is that these things are rich with information. They are the equivalent of a quadrillion old Encyclopedia Britannicas. What's the bad news? Many of these things are not refereed. That is, the information gets posted on these by Joe Schmo, and whether it's right or wrong, no one knows until some other Joe Schmo comes along and corrects them. As such, I use these things on a daily basis, but do so with a degree of vigilance. Never take a single source on the internet as valid. If you can't corroborate it on at least another half dozen sites, then I would never use it. But if you can, put some trust in it. What's the good news? They're probably every bit as valid as the nightly news. Okay, what else do we do on the internet besides surfing around, online shopping, and information sources? We use social media. Social media is the best thing since sliced bread for those of us our age when it comes to communicating with family and friends. I am a huge Facebook person. My wife is even a larger Facebook person. My daughter-in-law posts pictures of my grandson at least 5 times a day, and we get a huge kick out of seeing them. Only have 2 things to say about social media sites. 1, social media bullies suck. Don't treat people badly just because you're not speaking face to face with them. 2nd, you wouldn't say those words to your mother. You would never say that kind of vulgarity in a group. Why do you type it on social media sites? 2 things. Social media bullies suck. Stop it. If you wouldn't say it to your mom, don't type it on a social media site. Off my soapbox now, but I feel strongly about these. Our next topic is online shopping. This one's real easy. I'm a big advocate. If they don't sell it online, I don't need to buy it for Christmas. 2 things you need to remember. If it doesn't say HTTPS and have the little lock icon in the web address, you're not entering your credit card. No exceptions. Rule number 2, stick to the major vendors. Amazon, Target, Walmart, all these are proven entities and they would never risk themselves by falsifying their information. At the same time, if you're renting a $3,000 villa on Craigslist, this is probably a bad idea and you're asking for something bad to happen. Stick to the major vendors and avoid buying that new Chevy from a dog under the bridge because dogs do surf the internet. Finally, with respect to online shopping, please assume that 90% of all the reviews are bogus, written by the person trying to sell that stuff. If you think that 90% of the reviews are wrong or bogus, you'll be 100% correct. Our next topic has to do with downloads. Downloads are a tricky topic because they're pretty much the only way to get new applications on your laptop anymore. Used to be people would distribute software on a DVD or a CD and you loaded it that way. And it's pretty rare anymore. Most all your new software is going to be downloaded. Okay, that's fine, other than the fact that there's also, every time you download, a risk of getting a virus. How do we avoid it? The way to avoid viruses as associated with downloads is to ensure the site from which you are downloading. For example, if I'm downloading a new version of Microsoft Office Suite, I only download it from the Microsoft site. Similarly, if I'm downloading new photo or video editing software, I only download it from the Adobe site. Now, there are going to be plenty of third-party sites out there wanting you to download from their sites. My recommendation is stay away. They're full of viruses. Generally, it's about getting you to click and download a bunch of stuff you did not intend. Never a good idea. In essence, downloading's safe, but you must do it in a sane fashion. And in my definition, sane means you only download from the vendor site. Okay, that concludes our discussion of the internet. So what did we learn? First and foremost, HTTPS. HTTPS means you're going to be communicating over a secured or encrypted line. If you can't remember the HTTPS, look for the little lock. Without the little lock, you don't enter your private information. Credit cards, personal information, none of that goes out. Doesn't mean that every website has to have HTTPS. If you're only reading off that site, for example, MSN, which is a news site, they don't need it because you're not entering any personal information. Second thing we learned was about social media. I think it's a great idea. I hope you all get involved with Facebook and Twitter or whatever is your favorite tool. My only suggestions is, and I'm on my soapbox again on this, is one, internet bullies suck. Please don't be one. And two, if you wouldn't want your mom to hear that language, then don't type it into a social media site. Next, we learned about online shopping. My take on this is really pretty easy stuff as long as you stay to the secured sites. And remember, how do we identify secure sites? HTTPS and the little lock. Second, with respect to online shopping, stick with the major vendors. Bob, the guy who sells Chevy on Craigslist, is probably not a great place to be shopping. Stick with the major vendors. And thirdly, with respect to online shopping, if you assume 90% of the reviews associated with a particular product or service are bogus, you'll be about 100% correct. We concluded with a small discussion of downloads where my suggestion was to stay safe with respect to downloads. Only download new software off the vendor site. You buy Microsoft software, download it off the Microsoft site and only the Microsoft site. You buy Adobe software, only download off the Adobe site. Okay, thanks so much. That concludes our section on the internet. And remember, keep on learning.